Hey everyone, welcome to Campbell's Coins. Fake silver is everywhere, believe it or not, but how can we prevent ourselves from becoming a sucker and buying that fake silver coin, bar, or round? Maybe you're incredibly scrupulous in where you purchase your silver, but maybe you buy hand pours or silver from a friend or a stranger. Are they as discriminate as you are and where they get their silver? Today we'll be looking at 8 ways to test for fake silver. Coming up. For in-person purchases, there are tests. Most coin dealers will test a coin before they buy it off the streets. So for a majority of coin dealers, you know you're buying the real thing and you don't really have to worry about it much, especially if your coin dealer is reputable. But you're not always guaranteed this, and you might be dealing with a source that isn't reputable, or at least one you can't really verify, like buying off Craigslist, eBay, or a host of other online garage sale type apps. I know of a major bullion dealer who has knowingly sold fake or not entirely pure silver to folks, but they do sell it to them as 9999, or excuse me, 39's fine silver. This thought came to me when considering buying hand pours off the internet. How do I know that the person making this pour tested the purity? Maybe they were just going off of what the coin said. If I put all 39's fine silver coins into this furnace of mine, the result must be 39's fine silver, right? Wrong. Maybe a round that they purchased was fake. Maybe it wasn't pure silver, 90% or sterling silver. Maybe the rounds you bought off Instagram are fake and the seller didn't know. So how can you not get screwed? When buying silver, there are a few tests. By the way, I have links in the description below of all the items that I mention if you care to buy from them. Out of these 8 tests, this is one that I don't recommend because it's too invasive on a coin or a bar, and that is the acid test. These work just fine with telling you if the item is made of gold or silver or if it's fake, but, and this is a huge but, the acid will damage the coin or bar and it will lower its value, especially if it's a rare coin. Do not use acid on numismatic coins. Its value will plummet to melt value instantaneously. While this test is an option, there are better test methods, and this is one I will not recommend. If you place ice on a piece of silver, it will melt fairly quickly compared to room temperature. That's because silver has thermodynamic properties. This is a tough test because a lot of conditions can affect it, like temperature of the room, temperature outside, and you have to wait around to see if an ice cube will melt quickly on silver. So I have a few items set up. I have just a block of ice with nothing. I have another block of ice, but this time I'm going to put a 2006 Kennedy clad $50 on there. Then I have another one right here. This time we're going to put a 64 Kennedy half. Put that right on there. And then lastly we have our kilo. Okay, and I'm just going to put this right on top of the kilo. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but the kilo of silver is already melting the ice. It's falling down, it's kind of moving around it. The 64 Kennedy is kind of pushing in. The clad is still on the top, and then we don't really have much pooling around here. So yeah, it's gonna suck to wait to see all this melt. That's why I've set up a time-lapse camera, and you're gonna see how fast each of these melt on their own. Now you can do this test with anything that contains 40% silver, 90% silver, 39's fine silver, 49's fine, sterling silver. Silver will react with ice in the same manner. This isn't exactly ideal because you're not going to want to bring a cube of ice with you to a Craigslist purchase or even to your local coin shop. But it's something that you can do at home. This is also why I have other test methods set up so that you can really figure out things about your silver. Like the kilo is really melting that ice away. Not so much for the Kennedy $half here. Kind of sunk in. You can kind of see like a little outline there, but that's about it. And then nothing over here with the clad, and then not much melting over here with just the regular ice. So all I'm doing right here is I'm showing you that the 90% Kennedy, if you just push it just a little bit into the ice, it will actually carve its way into the ice and start sinking through. Now, conversely, I'm trying that with this just clad Kennedy $half, and it is not pushing through the ice. I'm actually using quite a bit of force on this, and it's still not going through. The magnet test. You've probably seen this test to check silver, but what do you do? How does it work? What magnets do you use? Well, you can't use any sort of magnet. You have to use a neodymium magnet. Neodymium is reactive with silver. And what you do, or what people show, is you put a coin or a bar at a 45-degree angle, hold it like this, and then you place your magnet, typically a smaller one than this, on the coin, and you watch it slowly fall off. The reason why it slowly falls off is because even though silver is not magnetic, it has magnetic properties. So if a neodymium magnet free falls off the coin, it is not silver. If it sticks to the coin, it is not silver. But if it slowly falls off, it's silver. There's just one problem. I don't like that test. I don't like that you hold a magnet up to your coin or bar and you slide it off. That could scuff up the coin, especially if you have a really nice one. So what can you do to mitigate that? And this is a thing that I came up with. I haven't seen anyone else use this technique. And that is, I put the coin in a bag like this, and I just hold it with my thumb and index. And I just hold it so it just hangs there freely. And then I will take my neodymium magnet and put it up to the coin. And I can already feel that magnetic charge. And what I will do, without moving the plastic, let's see if we'll focus, is I'll just pull the magnet away. This tells me that the coin is silver. It's not sticking to the coin. I'm not moving it with my fingers. This is just the magnet doing it. This should happen with any item that has silver in it. I've tested this with 40% and 90% constitutional silver and it has the same reaction. So it doesn't have to be pure silver. So remember, if the magnet has no reaction to the item or if it sticks to the item, it's fake. If it slowly pulls away or falls off, your item has silver in it. And while this test will tell you if the item has silver in it, it will not tell you the purity of the silver. Flick a silver coin or piece. There is a very distinctive sound compared to a clad coin. It's a high-pitched, heavenly ping. There's even sound variations from a 100% silver coin to a 35% silver coin. And I'm going to show you what each of those sound like. So in front of you we have a whole bunch of silver, but here I have two non-silver coin. These are clad pieces. And I'm just going to hold them in my fingers like this and tap them like that. And I'll hold it up to the mic. That's the sound of two clad half dollars hitting each other. I'm going to start with two 35% nickels. These are war nickels. They were made from 1942 through 1945, and they contain 35% silver. And even coins with that low amount of silver will have a very distinctive ring to it. So I'm going to hold them like this, and then just tap them against each other, and you can hear it. All right, that was 35% silver nickels. Next, we're going to move up to 40% silver. This is going to be a little bit more distinctive because these are bigger. Okay, that was 40%. You can do it with a dime, but they're very small, so you kind of just have to flick them. Okay, so that was two 90% dimes. And now we're going to move up to 90% dollars. Now this is a peace dollar, and this is a 1921 Morgan. Again, I'm just going to hold them like this and tap them. Alright, that is what two 90% silver dollars sound like. Now I'm moving on to pure silver rounds, and I'm going to tap them like this. Alright, that was two pure silver rounds. That's 999 fine silver. And I have the this 10-ounce bar here only because it doesn't really work a whole heck of a lot with large bars and rounds. I mean, you can try. It just makes kind of like a clank sound. They're kind of big. That ringing came from the silver dollar that I hit it with. Large bars, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get that sound out of them. That's why this test doesn't work for everything across the board. If you can master these sound differences, you'll be able to tell which kind of silver coin you're getting and if it's real. You're going to be able to hear the difference between a 35% and a 40%, 40% in a 90%, and a 90% in a pure round. I can hear the different tones in each of those and how they diminish just slightly as you go down. There's also an app for Android which allows you to test a coin based on its sound frequency when pinged. So basically you do that same test that I was doing up to the mic, but you do it to the phone microphone and with this app. And I don't have an Android, so I can't really show you. I did see a YouTube video on that, and you can YouTube that and check that out. It seemed to work 50% of the time. I don't know how reliable it really is. Again, this test will only tell you if the item that you have has silver in it. It will not tell you the purity of the item. Before I move on to other tests, if you're getting any value from this video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. Alright, next up we have measurement. Coins will wear down over the years, but if you bring a comparable coin, you're going to be able to compare it to the coins you're trying to buy. What I recommend doing is looking up the diameter, thickness, and the weight of the coin that you want. This information is on the web, so you can check out if you're buying nickels, pennies. Doesn't matter, you will be able to find this information. You can use a dial caliper like this one to get the diameter and the thickness and compare it to whatever it is that you're buying. So the great thing about gold and silver is that they are very heavy metals. So if someone is trying to create a fake coin, that is difficult to do, because if it is too wide of a coin, but it's the right thickness, then you know something is off. If it's the same diameter, but it's way thicker than it should be, they have to kind of get that to get the weight of the coins. That's what's great about gold and silver, is that they are heavy metals and it is difficult to duplicate. I'm not saying that it's not done, but I'm saying that if they get the thickness and the diameter right, then something is wrong with the weight. And vice versa, if they get the weight right and the diameter right, something's wrong with the thickness. On and on. You can check this out. So we're looking at the American Silver Eagles. I have one right here, and then we have a Morgan. Setting that aside. So American Silver Eagle contains 0.999 fine silver in 1 troy ounce. It weighs 31.103 grams. The diameter is 40.60 millimeters, or 1.598 inches. The thickness is 0.117 inches, or 2.98 millimeters. And our Morgan silver content is 0.7734 troy ounces of pure silver. The weight is 26.73 grams, and that is in its perfect condition. Diameter is 38.11 millimeters, or 1.5 inches. Thickness 2.4 millimeters, or 0.944 inches, or 0.0944 inches. So we can just check that out right now. And right there we have 1.598 inches, or 40.6 millimeters. So we know that our diameter is correct on this one. If we try to go with the rim, the thickness of it, go rim to rim, and we come out to 0.117 inches. Try the same thing with our Morgan. And we have 1.5, almost exact. And then our thickness, we got 0.91. So there's a little bit taken off over the years, and I could have just been handling it differently, but pretty dang close to its original thickness and size. So we know that in terms of diameter and thickness, these coins are dead on. I think there's like this little card, and I'll post a picture and where you can find that. I think it's on Amazon. You can find them on eBay. I think they're like 30 bucks. Anyway, you can put your American Silver Eagle in this card, and if it passes through one of the slots, then it's good. If it doesn't pass through it, then it's not good. Same thing with the diameter. You can put it into this cutout part on the card, and if it fits, but there's still room, you know that your coin's a little bit fake. If it fits just right, then you're good. So the thickness and the diameter is not, these two are not the greatest determiners, simply because a coin will wear down over the years, especially if you're buying an older one. A newer one shouldn't have that much of an issue, but think of it as another red flag if your coin that you're buying doesn't measure up. Get it? Dad joke for you. So just think of it in terms of another layer of things that you have to do. If one of these is failing, you know there might be some issue with the silver that you're buying. The next test is the weight test, and if your diameter checks out fine, your thickness checks out fine, the weight test will be the determining factor. The next way to test silver is weight. Silver weighs more than its clad counterpart and even its fake counterpart. 31.1 grams for 1 troy ounce of silver. And that's the key there, troy ounce, not ounce. So if you know the weight of the silver coin or coins, let's say a Morgan dollar, you can compare it to the Morgan dollar that you're buying if you're buying in person. I would suggest bringing a little scale like this one. It's compact, it's battery powered, inexpensive, and it works really well. If the coin weight is off, you know something isn't right. A brand new Morgan dollar would weigh 26.73 grams. If you're looking at a worn Morgan dollar and it weighs 26.79 grams, your spidey senses should be going off. Similarly so, if the coin weighs a lot less than 24 grams. Less than 24 grams is either indicating a fake silver piece or a clad piece. Even a really worn down silver coin is not going to be worn that much to weigh that less. And we're talking about anything in general, but specifically to this, we're just talking about silver dollars. And I'm going to do a little test for you all. So I have my little compact scale. I hit the tare, and I have a American Silver Eagle. And that comes to 31.2 grams. So it is 1/10 of a gram off. I wouldn't worry too much if your Silver Eagles are slightly off. I've noticed that I've had some variation in mine. This one is 31.33. And this one here is 31.32. So it's just a couple of tenths of a gram off. Off to this side over here, I have a clad Ike dollar. I have just a regular, not a regular, but I have a Silver Shield BU round here and a 1921 silver dollar, Morgan silver dollar. If you have a Morgan dollar, it should weigh 26.73 grams. And due to age, mine's a little bit less, 26.64. If this coin weighed 26.8 or 27, I would get a little bit worried that I would start checking the dimensions at that point. Something might be off. And we can check this Ike dollar, and you're going to notice it's going to weigh a lot less, even though they're the same size. It's 22.72 grams. So I have a troy ounce silver round. This is a Silver Shield In Debt and Death They Trust. It's a BU version, and it's 1 troy ounce, so it should weigh 31.1 grams. And it comes to 31.25. So it's just either my scale is slightly off by 1/10 of a gram, or the weight of the coin is off by 1/10 of a gram. This is just another way you can test your silver. I highly recommend this method because if you have a whole bunch of coins that are the same diameter, same thickness, and they're all weighing the same, then you know you have 1 troy ounce of silver there. If the dimensions are off, somebody fudged that to make it weigh the same amount as a silver dollar would, or as a 1 troy ounce, but you can't fake the dimensions and the weight of the silver. It's just not possible because silver has this very specific weight, and if you add other things to it, you may get it to add to that same amount, but the dimensions will always be different. Either the thickness of the coin or the width of the coin, the diameter. All objects have a specific gravity, and silver's specific gravity is 10.4 through 10.6, and that's for pure silver. If you're trying to do something like this with constitutional silver, it's going to be around 10.3 because it's not pure silver. It's 90%. No other metals or substances have this specific gravity for pure silver. None. Everything has a unique specific gravity number. Get the weight in grams of all the silver you want to test. I have found that with the scale I use, it's not fine enough to get a specific gravity for coins or bars that weigh less than 1 ounce. So I'm going to show you a 10-ounce bar and a SilverTowne kilo just so that you can see how this works. Alright, so what you need is a tub of water, you need a scale, you need silver to test, and then you need some sort of string. I use floss only because it is very light and it won't affect the test that much. Okay, so as I said before, I usually just use this method for larger bars. Anything over 5 ounce works. I found that with 1 ounce and below it does not work, specifically because my scale cannot handle that fine of a weight. It can handle a huge amount of weight, but it just can't handle the fineness. And I haven't been able to find a scale that handles a lot of weight and also goes into very fine measurements. Alright, I'm going to weigh the 10-ounce bar first. And it comes out to 310 grams for the weight. Alright, next I'm going to do the kilo. And we come out to 1,000 grams exactly. So I'm going to take these numbers and we're going to put them on our board. Okay, so now that we have our weights without the water, we're going to put the container of water on to our scale and we're going to zero it. So we're going to wrap the string around each of the objects and dip it into the water until it's fully submerged, but not touching the bottom or the sides. Alright, so we have our first item. It's tied onto our string and we're just going to dip it in. And it says 96 grams. So we don't want it touching the bottom or the sides, and it has to be fully submerged in the water. So we're going to take that out and record our data. You also may have to re-zero the scale, as pulling out the silver will take water with it, so that might change the water weight, especially if you're doing a lot of these. So just keep that in mind. Alright, next we're going to do the 10-ounce bar. And it looks like we have 30 grams. Okay, here we have our results. So the 10-ounce bar weighed 310 grams dry. There might have been some issue with that. I kind of want to check that again because it comes out to 10.3 and that's just not quite right. It's a little bit short of pure silver's weight. And I mean, I just re-measured and I have 312. So I'm going to change that to 312. Okay, fixed it. So how do you find the specific gravity is you take the weight of the item just by itself, divide it by the weight that was in the water, and you get the specific gravity. So it's 10.4 for the 10-ounce bar, 10.4 for the SilverTowne kilo, which is just barely in the range for pure silver. Again, the specific gravity test, due to the scale that I use, it does not really work. I mean, even in this one, it's kind of fudging up a little bit. I think it goes like it doesn't go specific to individual grams. It kept going up by 2. I got the numbers, it works, but if you're trying this with anything less than an ounce, I think you're going to have problems unless you have a very heavy duty scale that can go read fine measurements. And finally, one of the best test methods to use on your gold and silver is to use a precious metals verifier, like a Sigma. These are expensive, and at a minimum, their base model you're shelling out $600. Their Pro model can be had for $1,600. You may be able to find them cheaper too, but you kind of have to shop around. If you don't want to buy one, I understand. A coin dealer may allow you to use theirs, but they usually charge you for it. I've seen some charge 20 bucks or so to run the test on a coin, depending upon the dealer. If you have a better relationship with your dealer, they may, allow you to do it a lot more at a cheaper price. If you don't know them and they don't know you, they're going to charge you for it, and you're going to have to deal with that. It electromagnetically tests the metal of the gold, silver bar, and or coin non-invasively. These have various settings and allow you to test all percentages of silver and gold in American coins going all the way back to the 1700s. They also test large silver and gold bars and rounds. What is great about the Sigma and other precious metals analyzers is one is able to determine the purity of the item they're testing. No other test mentioned in this video except for the specific gravity test verify purity. They only verify that they are indeed silver. It doesn't tell you the percentage or the amount. While these analyzers are fallible, these are probably the most accurate of all the tests I have mentioned in this video and will help you the most in determining the authenticity of the item you are testing. Whew, that was a long ass video. Kudos to you if you stuck with me this entire time. I will have a video out soon about 8 ways to test for fake gold, so keep an eye out for that one. Also, if you haven't checked out the gold gaw I have going on, you should probably do that. The thumbnail looks like this. Hit that like button if you like this video, smash it if it's something that you're into, hit that bell and subscribe if you aren't already. Thank you all so much for watching Campbell's Coins, and that is my 2 cents.